It was in 2017, and yeah, I just had this really strong pain in like my lower right side of my abdomen, and I thought it was like, you know, girl problems or whatever, it was gonna go away at some point, and I just noticed like the pain kept getting stronger and stronger.
There's so many things that people just keep to themselves, but you overcoming that and saying, hey, I'm beautiful, like this doesn't define me. And I'm pretty sure a lot of the people that have seen you or heard your story say like, I want to have the strength that Henesis has. So I love that.
A lot of people have their scars too, whether they're physical or emotional, and a lot of people walk around hiding them. Whether if it's one person or two people that I inspire to not be, you know, ashamed of what they went through, then that's all I wanted to do by sharing my story. My name is Henesis Vega. I'm a TV radio student at Brooklyn College and also minoring in film, graduating in December, hopefully. Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping to do something in the media field at some point after graduation. You know, I like creating things, making videos, making Photoshop and stuff like that. So I really hope to get a job in like the media industry at some point. Yeah, they took me to the hospital. Long story short, they basically diagnosed me with appendicitis. But then they were like pressing on my stomach, right? And then technically when you have appendicitis, it's only one side of your stomach that should hurt. So the doctors kept pressing everywhere, and everywhere where they pressed, I was like, it hurts, like it hurts everywhere. And they like looked at each other like, this is not normal. And they went to get like a specialist, and he came back and he's like, oh yeah, your appendix is ruptured. They basically called me out because I didn't go on time. They said if I would have waited any longer, I basically would have died, because that's like an infection that spreads to your organs. Thankfully, like I only had a ruptured. It wasn't like it like fully like exploded or something. So it was forming like a little abscess, and what they wanted to do is like put me on antibiotics for the infection to go away and then just drain the abscess. After like 4 days of them keeping me like under observation and antibiotics, I was actually just getting worse and worse and worse. So they finally decided to operate because yeah, the infection had spread out through like my whole like abdominal cavity, and my blood was starting to get infected. Also, my lung collapsed.
My goodness. And this is in a matter of how long?
In a week. Less than a week, yeah, like in 4 or 5 days.
But this time your mom knew?
Yeah, this time my mom knew. Like I missed that part. So I took myself to the hospital. Once I got like, I got settled, I called my mom and I was like, listen, I'm in the hospital. And she reacted pretty good to it. Like she was like, okay, I'll come after work. So thankfully she like kept it together. I was in the hospital for 2 weeks, for 15 days straight. Because after they operated, they didn't stitch me up. I didn't know that, so they actually left me open. They only stitched up the first layer of skin that's in like to cover your organs and stuff. I didn't know about it till like 3 days after my surgery, and yeah, it's like a lot. They had to give me this instrument, which is it's called a wound vac. So it's basically a vacuum with a sponge that they put inside of your wound, and then it like puts your skin together.
Thank you so much for sharing all of that. This is just, my goodness. And I seen you walk and you're like so healthy and so full of life and so happy at all times. So I can understand this must have been like an impactful time of your life, but also it's made you stronger and happier and willing to kind of live stronger. So I love that. I wanted to know, like, understand about like the medical bills process.
Honestly, like everything, it's like a miracle, literally, because okay, so like I said, I was scared to go. First of all, because I didn't have like medical insurance, and I pay for school out of pocket. So I was like, if I go to a hospital, that means I'm probably not gonna be able to go to school for a long time because I'm gonna have to pay for medical bills and stuff. So whatever, I didn't care about it. I just said like my health was like my priority at that point. I went to the hospital. One person from administration talked to my mom, because technically I was a minor at that time. I was 19, but you know, like I wasn't 21, so technically I was still considered a minor. So they said that my mom could file for like an emergency Medicaid. My mom filled out all the paperwork. I think she had to send in like proof of income and stuff like that. And then yeah, it kicked in right away. We were still like worried because we didn't know how that worked until I went home after the 2 weeks, and they sent like the first bill. They had told us we didn't have to pay anything, but they sent the first bill and it was like I think over $52,000. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like how am I gonna like pay for this? And my mom is like, no, the guy said you weren't gonna have to pay for anything. So I still had to go to regular checkups to the doctor after I got sent home. And I ended up going to the office of billing, and they were like, oh no, it was a mistake. You don't have to pay anything. Honestly, like I'm saying, it's a miracle. I paid $0.00 for a major surgery. The instrument that they gave me also, that was like over like $10,000 I think to get. And the doctors actually, they felt bad for me and they had to like file a letter. I don't know to who, like I'm sorry, I'm not giving like straight facts, I don't really know. And they filed like a petition for the hospital to give it to me, and they did. Because if they wouldn't have given me that, then I would have been sent home without them stitching me up. Like back in the war days, you know, where they like just did like dressing changes. So I paid nothing. The only thing I remember I had to pay was $20 for every visit, like every checkup that I did after.
How were you as a person before this all happened, right? I was stalking you, being completely honest, before we did like the interview, and I was trying to like, I went back to your Instagram and I stalked and I tried to like get an idea. And I saw that one of your posts, you kind of mentioned how this kind of transformed you into and gave you strength into being a different woman. So if you could speak a little bit more about what were some of the things that maybe you were thinking before all of this happened, and how do you feel after everything?
I just feel like before I took a lot of things for granted, you know, including this whole journey. It was just like a whole transformation of myself as a inner self, you know. I feel like I said, yeah, I used to take a lot of things for granted. After my surgery, I feel like honestly what changed me wasn't the whole surgery process specifically, but the recovery process. Because mind you, I had a wound like maybe this big on the middle of my stomach, and I couldn't do anything for myself. You know, you need your core to function, and I couldn't eat for by myself. Like I needed help moving my arms, I needed help changing, I needed help showering, using the bathroom. Like it's a lot of like humbling things for me that were like, oh, you know, you don't really think when you do them every day, you're just like, oh, it's like it's normal life. But once you realize that you needed help with absolutely everything, that's when I was kind of like, damn, like I'm taking a lot of things for granted. I couldn't even get up from my own bed. Like there were days that my mom had to go to work, obviously, and I would stay in bed for hours after I woke up, waiting for one of my friends to show up and help me get up for me to be able to go to the bathroom, because I just couldn't move. So it was just like little things like that I feel like the whole recovery process just helped me appreciate little things, and like the people around me. My closest friends were with me literally every single day, so was my mom, and just like seeing how much like they were helping me, and how much like you take things for granted, like being able to move your legs, your core to get up, to like use the bathroom and things like that, are just things that ever since then I'm just like grateful that I could do them, because there's a lot of people that have it way worse than we do, you know, and it's like they don't really complain, and then we that have like basically everything, we complain about a lot of things every day. And I just feel like going through that, it just helped me appreciate the things that I have and the people around me, and just being alive every day.
Why is it important for you to share this story with the world? And why is it important for you to like be so open and show your scar and tell everybody that had happened to you?
I just feel like a lot of people have their scars too, whether they're physical or emotional, and a lot of people walk around hiding them. And I didn't want to do that, you know. Like if you go through my social media, you see a lot of pictures of me, and I post my scar, and I'm very open about it, because it's honestly, it's not pretty. It's an ugly scar. It's like in the middle of my stomach, it dents to the inside. I'll share some pictures with you. Like it's not cute at all. But I'm like, especially right now that we live in a world where social media has such an impact on how people decide to like show themselves, you know, influencers or models, and we're like, oh, why can't I look like that? And people get this perception of who they should be like or look like. And I just feel like you should just learn how to love yourself for who you are. So after I got this scar, I was just like, I'm gonna share it with people, because you never know what they're going through. Like I said earlier, whether they have physical scars or emotional scars, if you share them with people, I just feel like it allows other people to feel comfortable in sharing their own as well. So, you know, whether if it's one person or two people that I inspire to not be, you know, ashamed of what they went through, then that's all I wanted to do by sharing my story.
I love that, and I tell you, be completely honest, one of the reasons why I created Cami's Camera was because I said if we can help one person by just watching one story, I think we've done our job, right? There's so many things that people just keep to themselves or just feel ashamed, but you overcoming that and say, hey, I'm beautiful, like this doesn't define me. All of the amazing things that I do are what makes me a beautiful and a strong individual woman that can do everything. This is just like a war scar that is just telling me that I keep on moving forward. So I love the way that you show that, and I'm pretty sure a lot of the people that have seen you or heard your story say like, you know, I want to have the strength that Henesis has. So I love that.